So for Spider-Man Homecoming,
Yes.
Jinx.
who do you guys think would have played Uncle Ben?
Ah.
I have actually always had a pick.
Yeah, who was your pick again? I know this
So-
answer, but I can't remember.
So
It's been a long time since we talked Homecoming, specifically.
I said because Marissa Tomei, who is
Yeah.
a great choice for Aunt May. Obviously, there is a running joke that she's, Marissa Tomei.
A baddie.
She's gorgeous, as the wonderful George Costanza would say,
Yeah.
Marissa Tomei. I always thought if it's hot Aunt May, we should have Uncle Ben.
Mhm.
So Patrick Dempsey was my
yeah.
Uncle Ben.
That's pretty good.
I could see him
pretty
doing, especially the silver fox kind of
Yeah.
look.
Mhm.
That's not bad.
That's my thought.
I always kind of imagined George Clooney, but I feel like that's
Ooh.
like too in conversation with like RDJ a little bit in terms of the swagger.
Fair. Clooney's still a good one though. Clooney would rock that.
Maybe this is too young, which is why it wouldn't work. But just because it wouldn't like match up, right? Paul Mescal. I feel like he's got the same caliber.
Fair.
Paul Mescal, he just is just really a little like, I know I'm only like 2 years older than you, but
Yeah.
like I'm your uncle.
I mean,
Yeah.
Adam Scott is
Even just a
good
picture.
Uncle Ben.
Honestly,
Ooh.
Adam
In
Scott's not bad.
Well,
but I guess he's in Madam Web.
He is
but-
Uncle Ben in Madam Web.
I still have never seen that. I had no clue about that. That's crazy.
I have seen it.
Mhm.
I will give no comments on it.
Yeah, one day we're gonna have to do Madam
We will.
Web, Craven, Morbius, and maybe all the Venom movies. but
It does say
Yeah.
something that I saw all of the SPUMC, Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel
I
characters,
hate
which
that
is
you
what
said
it's
that.
officially called.
Go on.
It's the worst.
It's the worst. I saw Venom, Venom 2, Venom 3, Madam Web, and Morbius all in theaters. And then we got to Craven, and I was like, I don't fucking know, man. And I didn't see that one.
And that's when I stopped making them. Matt.
I know. It's because of me.
'cause
But
of
we'll
you.
revisit it on this podcast.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then
But that's for a different day. I think today we're talking Spider-Man Homecoming.
we're getting dressed up. We're going to the dance.
Yeah, you guys ready to talk about it?
Not really, but we'll do it anyway.
All right, fine.
I am.
He's
I'm
ready.
ready.
I'm
I'm
ready.
ready.
So ready.
All
Right.
right. Roll the intro.
Roll it.
Welcome to a series of podcasts discussing series of films.
I'm Matt.
I'm Dave.
In a world inundated with prequels, sequels, spin-offs, and reboots, we ask the question,
Do we need one more? I think we do.
I think we don't.
That felt long enough.
Yeah. Is that how we go into the intro?
Yeah, that's
Or
how
yeah,
we come out of it.
That's exactly it. The
Okay,
faded out
we
part.
do the thumbnail faces.
I'm gonna
in
put
between
the intro, and then
show.
it's gonna be all of us just making our faces silently.
I was gonna say, don't do the credits. Don't do the title.
There's no title
Just
sequence this
do-
episode.
Yeah,
what we
just
should do
that.
is like an intro, like the '90s Spider-Man show, where it's like heavy rock, like it's like Spider Blood or whatever. We do
Yeah.
that podcast blood, podcast
Yeah.
blood. Well, guys,
We're here.
we're much like Spider-Man. We're in the MCU.
Full circle.
Yes.
Yeah, we've returned.
Will we ever
little
cover
bit.
the Andrew Garfield movies?
Yep.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, that'd be
At
fun.
some point, we're probably have to do it.
If we're threatening to do the Spumsy like we did,
Yeah.
or like I threatened.
I mean, if he shows up in a post-credit scene for Doomsday, then maybe we have to.
I mean, if we're going by characters
I mean,
that have appeared, Adrian
was in
Toomes does appear in Morbius.
Ooh.
I
He
was
is-
even gonna say Andrew Garfield was in the MCU.
He also
We'll
was in the
get there.
MCU. As far as we know, Adrian Toomes is still stuck in the Morbius universe. I don't know if you guys know. He was transported.
Couldn't tell you.
I'm already telling you. I was going to say, do you care about spoilers?
Give me the
for
spoilers.
Morbius? That movie ends with the rift from No Way Home opening in the Morbius universe, and then Adrian Toomes, Michael Keaton, appears in the Morbius universe in prison, and he goes like, I hope the food's better in this joint. Is his exact line. And then it cuts to Jared Leto like driving fucking somewhere. He lands in the desert. Morbius, or excuse me, Vulture
Is
shows
Morbius
up.
driving an Audi?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so. I don't remember what I don't give a fuck about that movie. But Vulture comes in and he sees him and he's like, "How's it going, Doc? Nice to see you." And he goes, "I don't know how I'm here." This is like verbatim the dialogue.
Yeah.
He goes, "Don't know how I'm here. Has something to do with Spider-Man, I think. But I think a couple folks like us, we could get together, do some good." And Morbius goes, "I'm listening." And that's the end of the scene. The biggest fuck off, honestly.
The dialogue
me
feels
that
like
movie.
someone overheard their kid playing with the action figures and he went, that's
something.
That's the script.
A
And
couple
then-
points. One, as far as we know, Spider-Man does not exist in the Sony universe.
No.
So Jared Leto, Dr. Michael Morbius, at your service, should be like, "Who the fuck is Spider-Man? I don't know who that is." To Vulture being like, "Has to do with Spider-Man, I think. You live in the MCU. Spider-Man is not the only hero there. If you magically teleported somewhere, what makes you think
Doctor
Spider-Man has
Strange.
any?" You'd be like, "There's 1,000 wizards."
I know, yeah, I'd be like Doctor Strange, Dr. Fate.
But also, has he been
Yeah.
in prison?
Well, he has been in prison, but
But did his mother study spiders in a place?
researching spiders in the Amazon with my mother when she died, or whatever that line is.
Yeah.
In Madam Web.
Yeah.
I know too much.
I feel like we should digress.
It's hard.
We're going
Spumsy.
really hard on Spumsy and not talking about
Spider-Man Homecoming,
we're like
guys.
Spider-Man's debut. Pfft, we want to talk about this other thing.
Probably best I don't talk about.
Don't
Madam Web
worry,
for
we're not
certain
cutting
reasons.
any of that, but we're going to talk about Spider-Man instead.
We are talking about Spider-Man: Homecoming, a better movie. Some would say a good movie.
I would.
I would say a good movie.
I think it's a good movie. Yeah,
I like this
I
movie.
think it's got its little quirks, but I think it's still. I like this movie. I think it's really funny. It's a really good time.
What is everyone's relationship with Spider-Man? Wait for it. Homecoming.
Never seen it.
Well, fucking get out of here, dude.
No. I like to talk about things with no knowledge.
He gets to guess what the plot is.
Yes.
And then we
No,
We've started off with Spumsy at least.
I guess it means I get to start. No, I saw it in theaters, and I think I saw it with you, right?
I think we saw
Did
it
we
together.
see it with the gang?
I mean,
back in
this
the
is
day?
the era where we're seeing
Yeah.
it with the gang that
We did, yeah. So I saw it, and I think I've
sulked
only seen
around
this
Orange
one
County with.
a handful of times, but this is the one I've seen the most out of the Tom Holland Spider-Man ventures.
Agreed.
And I think this one might be my favorite, to be honest. But I want to rewatch the other two before I commit to that decision. So it's gonna be an interesting couple of weeks here.
Fair. Dish, relationship to Spider-Man: Homecoming?
So because I wasn't, in the original episodes when we started this podcast and did Spider-Man, I just got to say,
True.
when I was younger, my middle name used to be Spider-Man.
Really?
It was in
Whoa.
there, yeah. So
Wow.
got a good relationship with Spider-Man.
That rules.
It wasn't legal or anything, but
Mhm.
that's what I went by.
And that's what we're changing today.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have the paperwork.
Yeah, I'm changing my middle name to Danger.
Hell yeah.
Dave Danger.
Yeah,
Dave Danger's
better
pretty
than
good.
Leslie. You know what I'm saying? No.
Boom.
David Leslie Vera.
But yeah,
that's not
so
my middle name, but I'm not telling you freaks what it is.
It's
it was
also
yesterday.
Yesterday, the horse's name was Friday.
Spider-Man. Good.
But
We're really shooting around on this. Go ahead, Ditch.
yeah. I love Spider-Man. One of my favorite. One
Yep.
of the, when I was younger, that was like the comics that I would get. Was the Spider-Man ones. So always been a fan. Loved the Tobey Maguire. I loved the Amazing Spider-Man, and I loved these when they came out. So
Nice.
all around.
How excited? What was your level of excitement when Spidey entered the MCU?
I was excited. I think as we'll dive into, I got a lot of reasons for that, but I think there was the something new about it that helped.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean totally. I think the excitement of there's been a lot of talk about the place of other Marvel characters in the Tom Holland movies.
Mhm.
I do feel like, from what I remember when this movie was coming out, I feel like people were excited about that aspect of it. It was like,
Yeah.
as the movies continued, that people were like, let's stop talking about the other Marvel characters. But I remember when this was coming out that it was like, there was that shot that's not in the movie at the end of the first trailer, I want to say, that was Iron Man flying and Spider-Man swinging alongside him.
Yeah.
and people were like, "This is what we've always wanted to see. Spider-Man and Iron Man are teaming up. Like, let's fucking go."
Yeah.
And then
It's even a win for the rights. Like
oh yeah,
the whole back
Yeah,
and
yeah,
forth,
yeah.
Sony being like Nah Dog and just like gatekeeping and
Yeah.
But I do remember the lead up to this movie and being, I mean, stoked. I mean, I thought Holland was obviously, he came out as one of the standouts of Civil War. It's not my favorite, but I really like the Spider-Man suit in this. I
Yeah.
understand the overall issues of people with like the textures and for lack of a better word, lines, right, that people have with some of the MCU designs.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a cool modern interpretation of the original Ditko suit. Granted, obviously, this series is in lead up to Brand New Day, the new Spider-Man movie we're getting. That suit's a work of art. I think that suit
Yes,
looks
it's gonna
awesome.
look good.
But I remember just being as this movie was rolling out, Michael Keaton is the Vulture, like all this other stuff. Iron Man will be showing up. Like I couldn't have been more excited.
Yeah.
And I remember leaving the theater, and the people that we were with were all relatively positive, but I remember being one of the more positive.
I feel like you and me were more positive on the movie than the rest of the gang.
When it ended, I remember being like, "Oh, I can't wait to talk about this fucking movie," and then turning and being like, "Oh, did other people not like this one? I thought it was kind of cool. Like,
yeah,
I thought it was funny."
That was my thing. I was like, God, I needed to laugh like this. Like this movie's really funny.
It's also like this was. I don't remember if I've said this on previous episodes, but like. When they pitched this movie as we're doing Spider-Man meets John Hughes, like for those who know me, John Hughes was one of my favorite filmmakers growing up.
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Breakfast Club,
Home
16
Alone,
Candles.
16
You know what's
Candles,
funny?
Pretty in Pink.
I was semi-satirically
16
saying...
Candles hasn't aged particularly well.
I was semi-satirically saying Ferris Bueller's because I didn't know it was John Hughes.
That's very funny.
Well, it does get name dropped in this movie.
Good. Yeah.
Ferris Bueller will return in Doomsday.
That would be... What if he was like... Have you ever considered taking a day off, Dr. Doom? And he exploded? That would be awesome.
He shows up, does a little twisted shout, and then Robert Downey's face just like melts off.
True. But people who know me, like when they said it's Spider-Man meets John Hughes, I was like, well, that's the easiest.
There we go.
Sounds like a slam dunk.
And I think the movie delivers on that for the most part. I do think that actually showing Ferris Bueller is a bit too much for me.
It's a little on the nose.
It's
like,
fun.
It is fun.
I think that this movie's so fun is the thing. Like you said, like you needed a good laugh, and it was like, I think, and sorry if you had more.
No, I mean, I'm more than happy to.
Sorry if you had more to say, but we just
but we're done actually.
We're just kind of done. So.
I pull out an Adrian Brody level list.
I wish
these are the things I want to talk about.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I think that this movie is like so much different than what we've got previously with Spider-Man, which like for me, okay, if you guys, we're all around the similar age and grew up, early 2000s and so on, and like Spider-Man 2002, and we're like, high schooler.
Yeah.
And that was like when we had all those movies that were like, that's a high schooler who's 30. So it was like you see Spider-Man and you don't relate as a young kid or even in high school, but like it's still so amazing. I love those movies. And then, Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield comes around and like still a lot of fun, really great. Kind of that like high schooler who almost looks more like a high schooler.
Yeah.
But
also
then like
he's a more
goddamn
convincing
hot.
high schooler, but
the skateboarding scene is what grounded it.
yes.
I'm gonna
Thought
be
that was
honest.
so cool when I was a kid.
Yes.
Because it was amazing.
When I was like Spider-Man skateboards, I was like, I think
He should.
skateboarding's cool. It
He
totally
should.
worked on me.
Yeah. But then we get Tom Holland.
Yeah.
And it's like, obviously the way that people look and they can't control it, but like he just fits that high school Spider-Man so much.
Looks like a
He
baby
does.
boy.
He looks, especially
He's a
even in
sweet
this, like,
baby boy.
even seeing
Well-
him in this compared to the newer stuff, and I'm like, he looks so young. They
No, he
nailed
literally
it.
looks like a
Crazy.
puppy. You're like, oh, he was so little.
Well, when he's cast in Civil War, he is 19.
Yeah.
He's actual, and so it's like that whole conversation of like they literally got a teenager to play Spider-Man.
Yeah.
who can do flips and seems like Spider-Man and like how stoked he is, but also he plays the nerd who's like playing with Legos with his best friend really well.
Yeah.
It's truly remarkable to me. I love Andrew and I love Toby, and there is a case to be made, especially in an episode 2 weeks from now
Yes.
about which Spider-Man is the standout of that movie.
Yes, yes.
But it is remarkable to me just how well Holland fits into the role of Spider-Man.
He's a really good
He's
Spider-Man.
so good. And I think people do have conversations about where his movies stack up amongst the other ones. But I feel like there isn't a conversation. No one is like, he is bad. Even if he's not your favorite.
sure.
Yeah.
He's great.
Mhm.
Which I actually, so I was going to say this on the topic of like the quality and everything. Like, I don't know if this is my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Mhm.
I think he's my favorite Spider-Man though.
It's
And I know that's a
fair.
huge debate, but I think for the reasons we were just talking about, like he plays a role. And I'm almost more intrigued to see who he is in the new one because he's not supposed to be the high school Spider-Man.
Yeah, he basically
He's
starting from
certainly-
scratch.
It's 4 years later,
He's
right?
changed. Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm wondering how he's going to play that Spider-Man, which I'm really intrigued with because actually I almost think one of my favorites for that was the Jake Johnson Into the Spider-Verse.
Jake Johnson, I think, is my favorite
Amazing.
He's
He's
amazing.
it's brilliant.
I think
you got any
he-
cash? I'm not super liquid right
Yeah.
now.
I think he
I love it
captures
as it.
Spider-Man in a way. I do also think No Way Home does a great job of cementing, and we'll talk about this in 2 weeks, but like that it's like they're all valid, they're all great. Like
They really
there
do.
is no competition amongst them. They're all Spider-Man. They all capture different things for me.
They do.
Like Toby, when I see him because I was 5 watching him, I
Yeah.
am like, that's Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tom is incredible in his own right. I think Garfield is incredible. I think the physicality of Garfield, he really reinvented something with that character. But I think who is my personal favorite, I think it is Jake Johnson. But Holland is,
Interesting.
they're all like, it's like that ranking, like they're
Yeah,
all
yeah,
ranked
yeah.
within like a millimeter
Yeah.
of each other. You know what I mean?
Who's your favorite?
I'm quite partial to Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I think he has the best balance of like Spider-Man to Peter Parker ratio.
Fair.
Like Toby's like Peter was always really great, but I never quite loved his Spider-Man voice. But it like works really well in the context of that movie. And then like
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield is a great Spider-Man, but I always thought he was a little too cool.
I
He's
agree.
certainly pretty.
But,
he's
but like,
pretty
it was like
cool.
almost too cool to be like, no, you would like everyone would be like trying to like hook up with you, like minimum, like,
Right.
At least that's just my opinion. But
No,
like, I
yeah,
feel
I get
like
it.
Tom Holland has gotten to. I don't love everything that they've done with the character in the MCU, and it's like little nitpicky things. So I'm not like going to be super critical, and we'll get into it in the next couple weeks here about the things I like and the things I don't like. But I feel like him as a performer and as the character, I feel like just nails what I want out of it. And then like right behind it, I think it's Jake Johnson,
Yeah. I
which might be a hot take, but
what I also
I
love
feel like
about
it's not.
no,
No, Johnson also
That's
personally Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite. I think it is the best.
I think what's in the conversation of this whole thing with like who's your favorite is like, I think it's crazy how successful they've actually been with the Spider-Man movies. Like I don't know about dollars and cents and why they don't make more, right? But it's crazy how you can create these characters, and obviously I think the Spider-Verse like really solidified that.
Sure.
It's just like, hey, there's a ton, but I don't think they could have done with his Iron Man. Like they couldn't have just like kept making Iron Man and like changing him out, right?
Sure.
Or they couldn't have, I mean, even though they tried, like kept changing the Hulk. It's like, like
Yeah.
like at least successfully where they all meet each other. And I think the vibe of Spider-Man and who you have play him like plays such an important role to bring them together, which obviously this is like that movie that's leading up to his whole story arc, as we know.
Real quick, I'm going to change my answer. My favorite
Yeah.
Spider-Man's Toyuki Yamashiro, the Japanese Spider-Man.
He's great.
He's
Honestly,
an
fucking
emissary
rules.
of death.
Yes. Also, got to shout out Christopher Daniel Barnes, the 1990s animated Spider-Man.
He's pretty great.
He is the voice I hear when I read the comics. Like I love him. I mean, they're all.
Is that the younger version or is that like the
That's the
old school?
The Shocker. That
Yeah.
one. I had to pull the
I'm
mic
also
right for
quite
that one.
partial to Reno Romano. He's the one.
Oh, from the game.
He's from
right?
the like N64 PlayStation 1 Spider-Man game.
They're all Josh.
He's also the
Keaton,
voice.
Yuri
Yeah, Josh Keaton's really good. There's
both.
I don't
all
think
great.
we've ever actually had a bad Spider-Man. Like quite literally,
Right?
it's not like
Well, I
Batman
think-
where like you have like Clooney is kind of like the poster child for being like one of the like the weakest casting choices.
Yeah.
But like with Spider-Man, I feel like across the board they've
They're
all been pretty great.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
There's no Dean Cain amongst
Dude,
them.
Yeah, there's not like a
Even-
Dean Cain.
Even the video game Spider-Man,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're spectacular, sensational. What's the other ones?
Have you guys
Say
watched
that
the?
again.
This is off topic, so I don't want to go too far into it. But the new Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
It's
It
pretty
looked
good.
fun.
It's
I
fun.
wanted to check it out, but
Gotta go
I'm
through
a busy guy.
Okay. Dave's
Wait,
got
Neil Patrick Harris played him.
He did,
Yes.
and they did a.
He was an MTV animated show.
He also played him in the games at one. They did Shattered Dimensions.
Yeah,
That's fun.
he
I
comes
think the
back,
one
and it's kind
he
of a
comes back-
nod to the fact that he was like the MTV one.
They did
Um,
a MTV animated 3D Spider-Man show that was like in the Sam Raimi verse, but
Yes.
not really.
Speaking of MTV, do we count Jack Black's like MTV Awards intro?
You can.
I'm not saying I'm going to.
No,
I'm
I'm
just
just saying.
questioning whether the legitimacy of his Spider-Man.
Well, we'll hold off for Beyond the
Okay.
Spider. If he shows up in there,
Nicolas Cage final
canonized.
answer.
nay. He likes to burn matches to the end of his fingertips just
Yeah,
to feel something.
Just to feel something.
Fucking great.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes. Let's talk
See
about
how
Homecoming.
easy it is
We
to
have a-
spin a tangled web.
We have
Yes.
a hard out this week, and we're
We
already
have a hard out, and
We really
we're
do.
just
We
like
really gotta go.
We're just like circling the edges of this episode really badly.
Quality.
Yes, we're
Quality.
talking quality of film.
Can I kick us off? Because I got
Absolutely. Go
I
ahead.
have something and we'll keep moving and I'm short, but great movie. I don't know if it holds it's one of the ones in the MCU that doesn't hold up in the MCU.
I kind of agree with
Where
that.
it's
like,
like
within the
in the
scope
story.
of it,
tapestry
yeah.
of it.
Yeah, like when it first comes out, amazing movie. I watch all the other ones and I go back to it and I'm like, this is a good movie. I will say, like it, to the other things that we're gonna end up talking about, there's a lot of great qualities to it, but like in the quality, I think it was written really well. I think the dialogue feels
the
good.
writing is one of the highlights, I think, for me. I think
Yeah.
the actual like direction
Yeah,
of it is really uneven, I think.
There's
yeah.
some
the
really
editing is also like not great. Like there was a specific moment where when he asks Laura Harrier, right? That's
Yes.
Liz Allen?
Liz Allen, yeah.
Oh.
There's a moment when he like
a
asks
woman
her
that
out.
makes me just stop dead in my tracks,
Yes.
much like Shamik Moore or whatever the fuck he was
Yep,
doing.
yeah.
we can cut that part for the episode.
I'll just bleep it out.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I can't believe you would say that, Matt.
No, I just like there's like a moment where like in the editing where like when she's like, I kind of like you too, or I forget what her line is, but like she like reciprocates, and he's like, it like cuts to him so fast you don't actually see her say the line.
I know what you're talking
and I'm
about,
like,
yeah.
wow, like that's a thing we should see her say that. Like I don't know, like it's just I feel like I don't know what I feel like they're always trying to cut around something, and I don't know what, but it feels like they're
Someone
like
in the background was just.
it feels like there's sort of like an
Yes.
irrelevant detail that they're trying to like cut around, and I feel like it robs like the actual like there's a lot of like great emotional beats that they never quite like capture correctly. Like even when he's like lifting like the rubble off, like the way it's like shot and like put together. I like the
Yeah.
moment like conceptually, but I don't feel like the execution is always like 100%.
I would agree with that. I think rewatching this, I really love this movie. Where is it at in my Spider-Man rankings? It is. I don't think it's the best. I think it is
Mhm.
effective in what it does. I agree. The editing kind of fucks it at times.
It does.
I think the movie is like just almost like on it with its structuring. It's like a
Mhm.
little. I don't know. It feels it kind of wraps itself up really quickly.
It does. I feel like
Um,
though the writing is so strong, it kind of saves this movie for me. Like I feel like the way it
Yes.
introduces the character, like
I
fall
think
in
the
love.
performances are
The performances are great. All
I
the
love all of
casting
them.
is great
I
across
think the
the
casting's
board.
really well.
I like what they're trying to do. I feel like again, it's just like I feel like Jon Watts and the team don't quite, and maybe it's just part of that thing of like because this is sort of in a custody battle with like Marvel proper and Sony, like maybe just the way that workflow was just sort of made it so that they really couldn't attack it like as much as they did. Which is another reason why I'm like really like interested in like the next coming weeks to see kind of how those like come together. On a rewatch, because those ones I've only seen once, one a piece. Like
I've seen
in theaters. I never rewatched those ones.
I've seen Far From Home twice, 2 or 3 times,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw No Way Home. I've seen that movie like 4 times.
Nice.
This to echo your point earlier. This is my favorite of the 3.
Really?
That's
think
how
it
I'm
is-
leaning, but I will revisit this topic at the end of our
I think it is.
No Way Home episode.
It is my favorite because, and we'll talk about this with No Way Home, a movie that I do like. I find it the most consistent of the 3.
That's what I was.
I
Gonna say.
find it very clear in its take and in its execution, which I think No Way Home has its stuff we'll talk about next week, and then or Far From Home has its stuff we'll talk about next week, and No Way Home has a lot of high points that I think really make up for some of the stuff that maybe hinders that movie in some aspects. I don't want to be too hypercritical of a movie we're going to talk about in 2 weeks, but
Too late.
fuck No Way Home. No, I'm
No,
kidding.
but we that's a conversation for 2 weeks from now. But
I really like when I hear this is a John Hughes movie with Spider-Man. I feel that in the movie. I feel
that too. I think it's mostly successful with that.
It's Spider-Man really meets high school.
yes,
And
and
it's a vibe.
And I think with John Hughes, what he's known for, Breakfast Club, obviously being part of this, but like Ferris Bueller, Pretty in Pink, like all those movies create a strong ensemble around the main character, and this movie I think does that as well. I think we can talk about whether or not Ned Leeds his, because
Ned Leeds, the CEO of Sex.
CEO of Sex himself.
I was wondering if it was going to come up.
When when that first look of him in Brand New Day came out, I saw on Threads, there was like a photo of it. It was like Ned Leeds' first look in Brand New Day. There was one comment, and I hadn't opened the full thing yet, and I was like, please be what I think it is. And I opened it, and the only comment was CEO of Sex returns. And I was like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, CEO of Sex will return in Doomsday.
But
So wild that has become his persona.
That's to date. That's like a top 10 meme for me.
And
I won't lie.
he's like, I love it. I think it's hilarious. Like he's like down.
I mean, who wouldn't?
It's so
realistically?
funny. But Ned is a character from the comics.
Yes.
Now he's not Peter Parker's best friend.
Yes. Have they ever done a version where he was like the best friend? Like, is this is
So-
like a really has like nothing to do with the comics kind of take,
No,
right?
This version, he is called Ned Leeds,
Yeah.
but he is very heavily inspired by, and I don't know what the how this character's name is pronounced because I've never heard it said in live action or in animation. He is very much based on Miles Morales' friend in the comics, which is a guy named Ganke or Gank, Ganke, who is
he's in the Spider-Verse.
he is in Spider-Verse, but he doesn't really
He doesn't play a role.
No, he's
play a
not
role.
really a
But if you read and look, if you go through those Ultimate comics where Miles is first introduced, that character, they are very clearly pulling from that character.
Gotcha.
They both go to a science school together. He's very like the interest of that character. That is very much what they're doing. That being said, despite it not being connected to Peter traditionally in the comics, I think it's a good inclusion.
I think
it works.
I think it really
Jacob
works. I think
Batalon
it's a
is very
really
funny.
He's very funny. When they're like, "Oh shit, it's the bad guys," and they like run and hide, and he's like, like
Yeah.
over.
Or even like when he's fucking.
You can just see it. It's so good.
and then they're like, it's like that's right in front of the chess room.
All the like
Chess.
where he's like chess makes me laugh so that kid's delivery. Hand that kid an Oscar.
Honestly, no.
Give them Sean
incredible-
Penn's Oscar. I don't
It's
know.
a-
Like
Take it
just
away from him.
fucking chess.
Next year, best
It's
actor.
so good.
That's really funny.
But I think the whole ensemble, even if they're not in it a lot, is great.
Yeah.
I think Ngauri Rice as Betty Brant is very good. What?
That cast, that's so funny.
They're like high school
The high school
newscasting.
newscasting is so
that.
funny.
I did that in high school, and
So
that is
good.
I had like PTSD watching that. I was like, oh,
It's pretty accurate.
The hey,
That
do
is
you
what it's
have a
like.
date for homecoming?
but also like
Slow
the
zoom
like,
in on his face.
thank you, Spider-Man. Like
The Spider-Man, and it's like this blurry
So
photo.
bad.
yeah. Yeah, they just nailed it with that.
It's so good.
Speaking of the ensemble, sorry, actually,
I was
David,
gonna continue with the ensemble. I was gonna bring up Martin Starr as the teacher.
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah.
Great choice for the teacher. This is the second appearance in the MCU.
True, shows up in Incredible
Hulk. He's a man eating pizza.
They have said that that's the same. Obviously, it's
No
not the
way.
intention.
Yeah,
but
I don't think they
connected those
realized
two.
that, and then they were like, "Well, I mean, he works at a school. There's no reason he couldn't have become a teacher."
It's the Iron Man 2 thing where
Yeah.
there's the kid in the Iron Man helmet in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
And
Like
people
that's Peter Parker.
Yeah, and
Obviously.
and Feige was like, fucking sure. Who gives
Yeah,
a shit?
why not?
Like,
It's
why not?
really. I'm gonna say it, but I really hope it's what we're gonna get
Yep.
with the Prowler eventually.
Yes.
Rooted in this movie with Childish Gambino.
Yeah, Donald Glover himself.
Being the Prowler and throwing in that line, which so in this rewatch, it really felt a little forced for me because it hasn't had the payoff yet.
No.
Where he's doing I got a cousin around here,
Yeah,
Or like I got a nephew around these parts. It's like,
or the nephew, or even the tells of like when they're showing him the gun that like blows up everything, and then what does he say? Something about the gravitational or the magic.
I will
I'm not
say
trying to get shot back in time.
That is
Like,
one of my favorite jokes, to be honest. I'm
Those
just trying to
things.
stick somebody up. I'm not trying to send them back in time. It's really
Gambino
good.
has my favorite line, and it's his like
so
last line in this movie where he's like, "Nah, man, you fix this. I got ice cream."
I have ice cream in here.
Right before
This is
that,
I know
my
what a girl
favorite
sound
line.
like. That
I know
one's
what a
really
girl
good.
sounds like.
the
Yeah.
one right before that though, when he's like this, you got to get better at this.
Yeah. Also, a really,
really
great. That's a great character moment of like, no, like that feels like a growing moment of like, that is right. You do need to get better at this part.
I that's why I love it, and I still hold out that like they will bring in the Prowler, they will bring in Miles Morales.
They absolutely will.
He exists. They've acknowledged
Yeah.
it enough. They just need the right team to come along and just do it.
yeah. Will he fight the Foot Clan? Who knows?
My assumption
That would be
is
crazy if he popped up in the
Spider-Man-
new one.
I think Spider-Man 5, I think we get Miles.
That's what I was
That's
thinking. I
my
don't think it's
theory.
yet.
Probably.
I think Peter's got to be like older because he plays that mentor role, which in the games, the Amazing Spider-Man games, like
Yeah.
phenomenal how they write those characters and have them interact. So like I'd love to just see that on the screen. But
Yeah.
I agree. But speaking of ensemble, I did want to ask how we feel about Zendaya as MJ,
Yes.
Michelle Jones
Michelle.
Watson.
Maybe the most like
Watson.
debated part of these movies is this version of MJ.
when it came out, I was like, huh? I think it's grown on me, and obviously seeing the other ones.
The way the character ends up being like utilized has like really made the character work for me.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
the moment at the end when she's like, "My friends call me MJ," felt like try my other name, Robin. Like it just was so
Yeah.
like.
so low.
And for me, I'm like, if she's gonna like, why does she have to be Michelle Jones? Is like the part I've never quite understood. Like if we're doing. I mean, I know they probably didn't know we were going to commit to multiverse stuff in the later ones. And so, but for me, I'm just sort of like, I kind of wish the scene had, not to rewrite it, but I always kind of wish they had been like, my name is actually like, Mary Jane or whatever. Like, and they're like, what? And they're like, everyone's been calling me Michelle. And I just
That would have
haven't
been
cared
funnier,
enough to
yeah.
correct anyone.
It would have been
But
like
my name
more
is
believable.
Mary Jane, but you can all just call me MJ. It's like a moment at the end of the movie where she's just like, my friends call me MJ. And then you're like, oh, she's got friends now. And I'm
And she's like, but I don't have any. Or
but
whatever.
I'm also like, that whole thing happens in the background and we never really get to see her like grow closer to them.
Yeah.
So I've always thought that was kind of like we kind of are tacking this on a little bit, but it's one of like the like parts that is really uneven for me in these movies. But the way Zendaya has ended up being utilized in these movies has been, I think, really, really cool and one of the highlights of the
and they're
series.
together IRL. So
Yep.
True.
You gotta love it.
I like.
Power
I can't wait for
couple.
them to get married and then he'll just be Tom.
They're already married.
Are they? I heard that was like maybe
Get out.
not. Is
They
it? Was that confirmed?
Okay, allegedly that's
'Cause I
AI.
also have been seeing.
No,
things-
not the photos. The photos are AI.
Okay.
Okay, but
but-
they did get married.
But the
La-
rings we've been seeing. Or
Well,
whatever.
yeah.
to say La Roche, who is Zendaya's stylist, who's wonderful.
Which is not related to
um,
Jay Roach, director of
Thank
movies.
God, no.
Or La Cucaracha.
But no. But La Roche was asked on
Cousin of
Carpet-
El Kabong.
at the time of recording a couple of weeks ago, and was said like, oh, like, are you styling Zendaya? Like, are you choosing her wedding dress? Like, how is that going? And La Roche said it already happened. And they said what? And
Boom.
they went, that's all I'm gonna say. And they
Yeah.
left. And then the night of the Oscars, they were La Roche was asked again, like, hey, you made some comments about their wedding. Like, do we have any confirmation on that? And La Roche's response was, I've said what I said. And
Did
so
I stutter?
the photos are AI.
Yeah.
They are
Okay.
AI. But what
They
it
got
seems
married
like
low-key.
is Zendaya and Tom are already married.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
Love it.
to the point of the character, I do love. I think ignoring the characterization itself, I think her performance is good in this.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with you, Dave, that it is like, personally, as like a lifelong devoted Spider-Man fan, I don't really care if you're deviating from Mary Jane Watson too much. Like if the character is exactly the same and it does end with people keep calling me Michelle, but like my name's Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't bug me. I have heard in an interview that their thing was where her nickname is MJ as an acknowledgement of this will be her relationship to Spider-Man, but we're not necessarily we're not adapting Mary Jane.
Which again, like Ned Leeds, we just said,
confusing.
like has like nothing to do with it. But it is like one of those things, like it's one of those things, like it doesn't bother me enough to like ruin the movie. But it's always been like it just always feels so unnecessary to me.
Yeah.
But you know, to each their own, I guess.
And it gets less bothersome
And
as the movies continue.
you know, thinking back, and I don't know if this is narrow-minded, but like looking back and being like, you know, this is the Mary Jane of the MCU, and then being like, but she kind of hates him.
Yeah.
Even if it is just like a personality joke, like, you're like, no, like they should be together. He's supposed to save her 1,000 times, and like, you know, she like even in the games, like one of my favorite portrayals of Mary Jane, like you get to play as her because she's freaking sick. Like,
and they change her in the games too.
Yeah.
She's a journalist in
and like
that.
that's fun.
They've given her a lot more agency in the games, which I appreciate.
But yeah, I think it is a weird.
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely in this movie. You can tell that they are. I don't want to use the word afraid, but they're like apprehensive in terms of doing. They want to do things differently from the other ones. I think more specific. I think the Raimi ones are so iconic, and at the time of this movie, like Amazing Spider-Man 2 comes out in 2014. This comes out in 2017. So 3 years later, like we get a reboot of Spider-Man in a closer time frame than we got Doctor Strange 1 and 2. Like, so it's like they're really
and we just watched Gwen
to,
Stacy die. Like,
they're trying to separate.
And that's the thing.
Are.
Like, one of the biggest criticisms of the Garfield movies is that they were too similar, and I do appreciate that this movie makes a big concerted effort to like make like different choices with everything. So it's like, again, another reason why I can't totally like hate on the like Michelle Jones like route, I guess. But
it doesn't ruin it. But
it doesn't ruin it. But it is just sort of like,
the
it is a little like, huh? Like I think that last scene is kind of a clunky scene. But
yeah, I would agree. Whoa. I will say one of the highlights for the movie.
I don't know. My car keys were like, we're leaving now.
In terms of quality of movie, I would argue with movies like this, a movie superhero movie is only as good as its villain. Michael Keaton as the Vulture,
awesome,
wonderful.
I know it's not quite a comic accurate take, but this is a cool.
It's not comic accurate in any way, but I think it's better.
I think it actually think it's more interesting because like with all the villains we have, there's so many like mad scientists, you know.
Yeah.
And to have him be like a blue collar guy is such a great take on this.
Well, sorry,
do we wish that he was actually a vulture, or do we like the machinified vulture?
I like the machine one because obviously the conversation in the movie of like them literalizing like he's a vulture because he's picking the scraps of battles from other stuff, I think is great. I will say what I love about this version, because you talk about him being blue collar. What I love about that is that he technically is, but when he has that monologue to Peter where he's like, the rich and the powerful, they're not like us. And I was like, you're rich, you're powerful. I've seen your house. You're like, he is like, I'm not gonna name any names, but there are people who are public figures who come out and they're like, I'm just like you. I'm on the ground. I'm at the earth like this.
Yeah, it's the like, Arrested Development thing where it's like, mansion. It's a banana, Michael. How much could it cost? $11.
Yeah, exactly. It's that. Like that's such a round of applause for Dave.
$11. Yeah, that's a good one.
But like he drives.
It's a little bit like that's why he's the bad guy though. But it's like I think it's a very good like it further like wow, words really got away from me there. It's part of like why I think like the Tom Holland Spider-Man works is that he's very is representative of like this generation and that like age demographic, and then like this version of the Vulture is very reminiscent of the sort of like real world like kind of people we have kind of mucking about, you know, like it's very.
It's like when he drives Liz and Peter to prom, he's in like a perfectly like custom classic car that's like
which. That scene, the writing is so solid. It's
the best scene in the movie.
I think that can you guys? I almost like wanted to compare it to like. Do you guys remember where you were the moment that Cap picked up Mjolnir? Versus, do you remember where you were the moment that Michael Keaton opened the door to Liz's house and you're like, that's they do
incredible,
it so
especially
well.
like the way the music cuts out and you're like, oh.
The audible, I'll never forget the audible gasp in the theater when that door opened and everyone went, fuck. Like, it's so
I apologize to all the people who heard me curse that loudly in the theater.
I mean, like, as a twist in the story.
You don't pick it up at all.
No, I mean,
watching it again, I was like, you know it. But I'm watching it and I'm like, they don't tease it at all.
No, there's one reference to him having a family at the very beginning of the movie.
And they say the kid.
Yeah.
To like, not be like she. They don't like kind of attribute anything. I've seen a critique of that a number of times online, but it's like,
and like playing on the like nervous boy going to the dad's house and all that stuff.
Yeah, that extra layer of like, what if you went to go pick up the girl and you had to meet her dad, but her dad was a villain.
Was the Vulture.
The Vulture, and it's like Star-Lord like going and the Thanos is there.
The whole like true
though.
The whole exchange of like, can I get you a bourbon?
Right there, Pete.
And he's like, I can't drink. I'm not old enough.
It's like right answer.
Right answer.
All that stuff I think is so.
Michael Keaton's amazing in this movie.
Because
he's I think one of the best villains in the MCU.
He is.
He plays it so well to just be like, he doesn't know. And I think that helps like cross the threshold so naturally when he starts talking to him and Liz is just like basically running her mouth to no fault of her own, but she's just like, oh yeah, Peter disappeared that one time. Oh yeah, when we were in DC, he disappeared. He wasn't with us that one time.
Yeah, and she's just like grilling him and he's just like, stop.
Yeah.
And then he like puts it together and then he's like, hey, does she know?
Yeah, and then he tries to lie, and she's like, "Okay, good." So she doesn't know.
What's really wonderful about that scene, and I think there's conversations, and we don't have to get too much in the weeds of this, but there are conversations and talk from people who I listen to and who I enjoy, that talk about that this movie doesn't have the balance of like Spider-Man losing out on opportunities. And I think like the great power, great responsibility aspect of him. And I certainly I understand that there are, especially in like Raimi movies and stuff like that, there are larger, more maybe mortality focused examples of that.
Yeah.
Of great power, great responsibility. I think Watts in this is really leaning into the like, it's not about like losing like a matter of life and death necessarily, but it is about a kid who is losing the opportunity to be a kid because he feels this responsibility.
Yeah, that was like a thing I picked up more on this one. Like even when he's just like, yeah, you know, like you know, Stark's moving everything uptown. Like I'm once I become like an Avengers, if I bust this case, like I'm like out of here. And they're like, are you gonna be a high school dropout? Like
yeah, and he's like, I'm beyond it.
Yeah, and he's just really not even thinking about that, which honestly like makes like this like ending of him like losing like everything like kind of hit harder, that he really like kind of wanted to just be Spider-Man, and now we're gonna get to see that movie, I guess.
Yeah, and like to the points of like things he loses out on, like it's like the hanging out at the pool with the friends. Like yes, that is small, but when you're, to quote John Hughes, I don't know if this is specifically just associated with him, but like it's that thing of like, when you're a teenager, the smallest things are the end of the world. Yep. So it's like that moment of being in the pool with Liz, that's his opportunity to potentially get his first girlfriend. Yeah. And he decides against that. And then it happens again. What I love the most...
A senior girl.
A senior.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, yeah, it's Laura Harrier. That's good for you, buddy.
Yeah.
But
that's an intimidating first kiss.
Yeah. But when in that scene with Vulture, what I love about that the most is... he has, you know, he's like, you leave my girl alone. Like, he's threatening to kill him. He's like, go be a teenager or I'm going to fucking kill you. Yeah. The best thing about that scene for me is that Vulture is talking at him and Peter has already made his decision. He leaves the phone in the car. Yeah. Like that's not an accident.
Well, it's the
He
with
goes-
great power comes great responsibility. Like literally, like played out as a scene.
He goes into that dance. There's that look on Holland's face, that look of fear, and it's not him going, "Am I going to decide? Should I stay or should I go?"
Yeah.
Like he's not he's not battling with that.
Yeah.
His thing is, I have to break this girl's heart.
Yeah, he like
essentially.
literally he's already made the decision. The
I'm
minute he opens that
standing this
door.
girl up at home. He has made that decision. Yeah, like he is already living in the consequence of I'm not gonna get to have this with her, and she's gonna fucking hate me.
Yeah,
and he says goodbye. I love that aspect of the scene, like that outside of Keaton's performance, which is great. Like we talk about the editing, like that scene.
That scene is
really
incredibly strong. It's one of the best scenes in the entire movie.
But that is the highlight, I think, for me.
It's a really good script, and I think because the first draft is
Jonathan Goldstein and
John Francis Daly, who we've got our Hall of Fame Dungeons and Dragons, which is their
write
movie.
and direct that.
But yeah, there's also like 3 other writers on this, and I feel like maybe some of those changes is kind of what kind of.
I think Chris McKenna, and Eric Summers. I think the 2 guys they end up writing.
They do some
2
stuff, and then
3.
Jon Watts also has a screenplay credit on this. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's also a bunch of uncredited writers that did passes on this.
Yeah, there's also Christopher Ford, Chris McKenna, and Eric Summers. There's like a lot of names on this screenplay. There's like 6 guys who collectively put it together.
Eric Summers write Ant-Man 2. They also write Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
And I think they're writing Brand New Day.
Okay, interesting.
But or one of them is or something. I don't know. But I do think I think the writing in this is pretty strong. I think a lot of the action sequences, I don't want to say fall flat. They accomplish what they're done. They're just not particularly high tense.
They're not structured very well. The fights, like they're very forgettable fights. Also, like this is like a thing where like the Russos are a lot better at like constructing fight sequences. And like in this movie, it's like I can tell you sort of roughly. It's like, oh yeah, there's like the boat scene. I can't really remember. I can't really tell you how the fight plays out. And like same with like the final fight. It's like, yeah, there's like he's hanging off the jet for a little bit. Like it's like they're not really like. I don't think the fights just aren't very well constructed, in my opinion.
I think there's good moments in the sequences, but I agree that the
and there's like some great choices, like at the end where he like is like, no, I'm like trying to save you and stuff. I think is such a great character moment. Yeah. But again, it's like it's that execution thing that's always like a little underwhelming for these ones.
One thing we haven't talked about and haven't gotten the
Hannibal Buress,
the Iron Man relationship.
Yes. Yeah, another big component of this.
It's like a big one.
Yeah.
Rewatching it, I was like, it's heavy-handed. Like,
it. Honestly,
I like it. I don't know if it was perfectly written. I think that they use it, proficiently to like convey he's a child.
Yes.
He is 15 years old or whatever they say, right? Like he is a sophomore in high school, and I think that they use it pretty well. I feel like there's some parts where RDJ seems pretty like absent, and I mean obviously even in the very first time he saves him from the lake and whatever or the Hudson
and he's not
the lake and he's not actually there, obviously
all of New York is like, I put some respect on that.
And I think that's where it's like like could they have done it better? Maybe. I don't know exactly what it was, but there was those things where it's like they're obviously using it to show like he is a child, and they do establish, I think, one thing that is positive, like Iron Man does take responsibility for him. I think one of my favorite scenes from this is the boat scene.
Yes.
And actually what happens right after that when like he saves him and then he's like upset at him and he's like, and if you cared, you would be here or whatever. And he's like, he pops out and you're like,
that's a good moment.
That was another one of those moments where you're like, oh, he is there, because they played it so well.
A moment that was kind of ruined by the trailer.
Right. And it's like one of those things though that like it just hits really hard. And I think it shows their relationship. I think it's a big part in why Iron Man makes the decision in Endgame to go back.
Yes.
Right? Because like there's that scene where he grabs the picture of Peter and is like,
or even
I'm time traveling.
The hug in Endgame, like when I'm not hugging you, I'm just opening the door.
That's a very funny moment.
Good moment.
That's so funny.
And
he says like keep the suit, and he's like, I actually love how they cut from his documentary vibe.
It's a good way to exit
to
that.
go. He's like,
That whole
I think that's a good
documentary
one.
is
It's
funny.
very,
funny.
very funny. Yeah.
Fucking Jon Favreau being like, that was a private conversation.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
Jon Favreau's also very
I
funny. in
love
those.
Happy
Hogan is so fun
He's
in these
so
movies.
funny.
I agree. I like that Happy. It's nice to see. I like Favreau having fun.
Yeah.
The Iron Man relationship is interesting. I understand where people are like, Spider-Man's like an on the ground guy. He wouldn't like look up to, you know, someone who's like not a man of the people. But also I'm like,
But then you read Civil War comic book and like
it's a lot.
I think for this universe,
think it
because
works
of the way
for
this is all,
Yes.
because like when the world first got a superhero, it was Iron Man, like, and obviously they had Captain America, but it was like, you know, per like the timeline of this like Earth, you know, there's like a big lull where like there just wasn't any. I mean, there's probably some like really like low key stuff happening, but then like when Iron Man shows up, it's like a big thing, and then the Avengers and everything, and so it's like, it like for this version, it kind of makes sense. It's a little like. Not out of character, I guess, but it is a little like unfamiliar, I guess, for like the comic book counterparts. But like, I don't think it like is completely out of the realm, especially for his age in this movie.
right.
I also feel like Downey doesn't. I hear people talk sometimes that it's like Iron Man just like takes over that movie. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that at all.
He's in 3 scenes.
He's in 3 scenes.
Like,
Yeah.
and then he shows up in some FaceTime calls.
He's almost like
yeah.
they're not enough for like
Yeah.
the heist going after his stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and which is great that the movie's kind of in conversation of that, where he's like, they're stealing all your shit. Like,
Yeah.
and Happy's like, don't fuck off.
He's like, don't
Don't
bother
listen to
me.
this
You
kid.
gotta do something with Thor's belt. And
I
he's,
think it's
trying
good.
it
Yeah,
on.
the megging.
Yeah, it's a good detail that Tony is listening to him.
Yeah.
You know, that he's like, who do you think called the
The
feds?
FBI. Yeah.
But yeah, I've never felt like Downey swallows this movie up. I feel like he is a
No.
pretty clear supporting role.
Mhm.
I think the cinematic universe of like Spider-Man being like, I just want to be on the ground level. I just want to like work with everybody. I want to work with people on the ground. And then him doing stuff more cosmic. I know people have issues with that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to factor that into this movie. I'm going to allow this to exist kind of on its own 2 feet. And I think the relationship works. I think as a kid, I get what the movie is getting at of he's 15, he has superpowers. He was drafted to go up against Captain America. He held his own, especially for someone who's as young as he is.
If Cap wanted to level him, he would have.
He would have.
Whatever he says.
He did steal his shield. But
Tony's wild for being like 14. Get in there.
yeah, fucking let's go, buddy. But like
To grow a conscience after that, like that's
Yeah.
wild.
Tony's Tony.
I
He's
know.
Going through
he's
it.
got an interesting.
I know.
Yeah.
Now
Civil
he's
War.
he's like, I'm sounding like my old man, and I'm like, you probably should be. You are 100% responsible for everything he's doing in this movie. You validated him in a way that he probably should not have been validated yet.
Yes.
Because of his age. Like you should have
Yep.
just kept an eye on this kid till he was 18, and then made him an Avenger.
Agreed. Do we want
And
to
even
talk
then,
Yeah.
a little? I know we're kind of going in and out with certain
Yes.
stuff, but
Yeah.
as we get closer to our heart out, do we want to talk about rewatchability a
Karen.
little bit?
Yep.
Karen
of
is
Karen?
so fun.
Karen's very
I
fun.
actually really enjoy it. I love the scenes where they get locked away, and then he's
I
like
do
talking to her
have
about
fun with that.
Liz.
Yeah.
and she's just basically being an AI. Like
I
he is
was thinking
now.
about that.
And then
Yeah.
later when he's
Fun.
like
when he
sitting-
saves her and it's
he's
like,
in-
now's your chance.
Now's
Kiss
your
her.
chance,
I'm
kiss
like, I'm like, whoa,
So out
Karen,
of
you were
pocket.
misreading it, but that's such a mom thing to do. Like,
Yeah.
Go talk to that girl.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun with that. I think this movie is very rewatchable.
I
I think
agree.
it's definitely the one I've seen the most, and
Yeah.
it's a good time.
It's a very rewatchable. Like I said, this movie's incredibly funny, and I think that's one of the strongest parts of this movie is its humor. I laughed at all the same jokes exactly the same way I laughed
Yeah.
the first time I watched it.
I think
so.
the Washington Monument sequence is pretty good.
I
like
that's
that
so
sequence quite a
that's
bit.
actually the
good.
best like of the like fight like sequences. I think that's the best constructed sequence.
Yeah.
And the like when Iron Man shows up to save the boat, I think is also really strong. But like
Agreed.
the fight leading up to it splitting in half it's a little like murky, I guess.
Sure.
Uneven's really the best way I could put it. But like the Washington Monument sequence is really good.
I
wish
think the
they
bank sequence is good.
Bank sequence is fun. I like when I like the wearing the Avengers mask. I think that's very funny that people would be like, we should be wearing Avengers masks. That's like a thing.
If the Avengers were real, would bank robbers be wearing that in real life?
I mean, you see people rob things with like presidents.
Exactly. Yeah, like Point Break. Yeah.
Yeah. You were gonna make a point. Sorry.
With the Washington Monument scene, there's like a whole moment where he's like, "I'm afraid of heights." I wish they had set that up better because that's like his first like real.
It's a good moment
rescue,
too.
and it's when he catches her and everything. And it's like it feels like that's a really strong moment. It's like up there with like Toby when he does like his first big save like at the Macy's Day Parade. You're just like. You feel like he's like figuring out how to do this, and like that's like it feels like an important moment in this character's like journey. And I feel like it is kind of weird to just suddenly have him be like afraid of heights. Like I'm like, I'm fine with it. I just wish it was like set up more because it like is kind of one of the stronger sequences of the movie. So
I'm intrigued to know like the average building height in Queens versus the Washington Monument.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's definitely different.
Yeah,
definitely different. And I'm like thinking about him like swinging around like on Ant-Man when he becomes Giant Man. I'm like, that's probably still not about half the height.
That's not
but you know.
I know. Obviously, I feel like we have to talk a little bit about the CGI. I don't want to go too much into it. Yes, it looks a little fake.
It's a little.
I agree. I would.
This movie has even more.
The suit.
Yeah,
I hate to break it to you, but it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the when people have a problem with them painting over the suit and making him a full CGI model when he's just standing there and talking.
Yeah.
Which I agree, to be honest. I do think part of what makes Garfield so great is his physicality in the suit. And not
the orange cat, by the way, Andrew
Garfield. I was kind of working
Yes.
lasagna joking into that, and I didn't get there in time.
Did you see Lamorne Morris is going to do Garfield now?
What do you mean?
Right, like
they're doing
cat?
like an animated Garfield show, and Lamorne Morris is playing him.
Sign me up! I'm watching the hell out of that. That sounds great.
That rules.
That's a wild pick. I
think
love
he'll
it.
be great in that.
He's gonna be fun.
He's amazing. I love him.
But I agree. I think if he's standing and talking, like I want to see Tom in the suit. The stuff we've seen of Brand New Day, it seems like they're committing to that, which I really like.
Yeah, it's got a good look.
And also like these craftspeople work so hard on these suits. They look so good. There's so much like effort and detail put into them. And no knock to CGI artists who are recreating those suits, but I do think we should allow the practical suit to shine just as much as the animated CGI one in action sequences.
I always think it's a bad sign when like a suit is like it's tough when like even when you have like a practical suit it looks fake. Like that's like not good to me.
Sure, I will say the eyes are great.
I think the eyes are a fun.
It's such a smart way.
I like when he lands next to the two little girls and they're like bugging. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And they're like, "Ah."
Yeah. I think that's a very good touch. But again, I like the design of the suit. I just do agree. Yeah, sure. Sometimes he is. Why are they removing the whole suit if you're gonna put that much effort into it? Why get rid of it? But other kind of bits. Any points of rewatchability for you guys? Things you love? I mean, everything with Captain America I think is hilarious.
Oh yeah, those Hannibal Buress and the Captain America tapes are probably one of my favorite bits in this.
Those are funny.
So you got detention. You're supposed to follow the rules, which is also extra funny after post Civil War, where he's just breaking every rule possible.
Yep,
there's a great one.
I remember watching that like right after Civil War and going into the theater. Those are happening.
Yeah,
wait,
the chair backwards, leaning on it is so good,
which is so in pocket after the like USO stuff. Like
I'm pretty sure this guy's a war criminal right now. But I gotta show you guys these.
Or the fucking the TV where he's like, and your teacher, and like Burris is on the other
side.
On the other
side, he's like, "Hey, what's up?"
It's the little jokes, and also I love how corny. Like they do capture how corny those videos are. There's that great bit in the detention one where they cut to the next video, and he's like, "So your body's going through a lot of changes. I happen to know something about that." It's like so. It's so right for those like after school fucking videos that you have to sit through. I find this movie really enjoyable to watch and fun. I love the whole montage of him saving people, stopping the guy with the bike.
Oh, I love a Zach Cherry cameo,
gotta
which is,
shout
I
out-
guess, not really a cameo. He's just a working guy, maybe at that point. But hey,
Yeah,
Spider-Man!
Severance.
Do a flip!
He's in
Yeah,
Shang-Chi.
it was a pre-Severance
Dude,
Zach Cherry.
This is the reason on my Instagram I have a highlight reel of the do a flip.
It's also, I think my favorite part, the do a flip is
The
good.
flip.
But it's the moment, it's when he goes, "You're that spider guy from YouTube," and he goes, "Spider-Man," and the way Cherry goes, "Okay, Spider-Man," like that, where he's just like, "Sure, that's your fucking name," like, is so good.
He's great. He's so fun in Severance. That show rules.
He's great in Severance. He's great
The other
in
guy from Severance is in this.
other guy from Severance.
The writer from Severance, the brother-in-law.
He plays the Tinker,
you're
Phineas
right.
Mason.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's very funny. I did
And-
not even clock that. That is so him. That's so funny.
How do we feel about Shocker? I like Shocker.
Which one? One or two?
Both of them, I suppose.
So I love Boyd because he's such a great actor.
Bokeem.
Oh, sorry, Bokeem, not Boyd. Oh my god,
You're thinking
botched
Boyd
that.
Holbrook.
I was thinking Boyd. I confused their names.
Bokeem
But
Woodbine.
Bokeem Woodbine. Have you guys seen Fargo at all?
Not the show, no.
Okay, yeah,
I know
the
he's
show.
on it. Yeah.
He's in season 2, I want to say, and he is phenomenal. He is just so fun to watch in that show. He's a great actor. His Shocker's kind of boring, and the other one that gets vaporized, I think, because that's Logan Marshall Green, right?
Yes.
He was a more interesting.
Unhinged.
Yeah, because he was kind of unhinged, and he kind of fits.
He
like
was gonna
the
do the
mold.
Shocker thing.
Because Shocker's like the dude that just shows up to fuck up shit and then get like punched in the head, and that version I wish stuck around more.
Yeah.
And I always will think that's
That's-
one of the big misses of this movie
Yeah.
is switching to Bokeem's version.
I'd love to
which
see
they just don't
him-
do enough with, I guess.
Yeah,
is
he
part
kind
of
of
the
just sits
problem.
around is the problem.
Like I almost feel like it's just kind of a waste of Bokeem's talent. Like I don't know.
Dude, you seen Ghostbusters Afterlife?
I haven't seen any of the new Ghostbusters.
Maybe we'll do it on the show one day. Bokeem Woodbine is in Ghostbusters Afterlife. Shows up, he's like the sheriff of the town.
Oh, nice.
And you're like, kind of fun. Just disappears from the movie.
Dang it.
Straight up disappears.
He's like, yo, is it gonna take long? And then he leaves.
It's such a bummer. He's so good. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, they let Marshall Green play a little bit more. even
Yeah,
though
well,
he-
yeah, because he's more unhinged, being like, "Ooh, look at me," and he's like,
Keaton's
he's the one who's like,
fucking-
"I'm the Shocker now." Like he's like,
You go on the
he's
Shocker.
like, he's just
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
"I
you-
want to be a bad guy," like kind of thing. Like all the other ones are like misunderstood anti-heroes kind of thing, and he's just straight up like, "Nah, I like being a fucker." Like,
Yeah.
so I kind of just like appreciated that energy. I think a little bit more.
I think I'm the type who played, the old school like Spider-Man video games, and I have like the memories of the Shocker level where you're
Yeah.
down in the subway and you have to
just
get past
boom,
and
boom.
just a boom.
That was
And
the
so it's
bane of my
like-
existence for a
Yep,
long time.
yep.
There was a long period where I couldn't beat that game
Yep.
because of those levels. And
Same.
then when I got through it, I like flew through the game.
Yep.
I was unstoppable when I finally got
Yeah,
through it.
dude. But I have like the memories of that, and so it's like I will say like I enjoy this more than the Jimmy Fox.
Oh, then Electro.
Yeah, like that whole
Yeah.
vibe of electricity. In the first one, I will say when he comes back, I think it's phenomenal. But
I have fun with him in that.
yeah, like that whole vibe, like that type of electric Spider-Man villain against Spider-Man is a lot of fun. And I
Yeah.
wish we would have just gotten more from Shocker
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
being like such a pinnacle villain for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, he's great because he pops in and he's like, "I'm gonna fuck you up, Spider-Man," and every time Spider-Man's like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah,
Like,
just like a flick away.
I would love to see him get some more play. I feel like actually in terms of rewatchability, things that I really love Holland's chemistry with Marissa Tomei. I love.
They've got really good chemistry.
I feel like they set some fun. They set like a pretty fun foundation that I wish we could have seen more of because she's ostensibly not in 2. She shows up
No,
very
she's not.
briefly, and then she plays a very important role in 3. But by that point, I feel like
Yeah.
I wish we could have had more with her.
Exactly. Yeah.
The final moment or the moment kind of before the third act after he's lost the suit, when she's talking to him and she's like, "I call you, you don't answer. You're always going everywhere. I know you sneak out of this house every night. What the fuck is happening?" That whole scene, I was like,
really strong stuff.
I'm loving this. I love them getting ready for prom together. I I know people, and myself included, do have some issues with like the Uncle Ben of everything.
Because they kind of keep alluding to it, and I wish that if they weren't going to ever like talk about it, that they just wouldn't even bother alluding to it.
I don't mind it being alluded, because it feels, the movie to me, in reading it in this one, it feels like it's something that's very fresh. Like that moment with
it feels like it's in the last year or something.
Yeah, that moment with Peter where he's like, I can't tell, or with Peter and Ned where he's like, I can't tell everything that's happened. I'm not going to talk about it.
I know.
I wish we could have seen that continue to expand. I feel like it's an interesting, like, we can't talk about this right now. We're not in a place to talk about this.
Yeah.
But then the movies kind of like, as the movies continue, you start to be like, what was Uncle Ben's relationship to everybody?
Yeah, he basically just is non-functional. It's just he gets swapped out in favor of Tony Stark essentially being like the pivotal thing, but it's like there's always something that never sits right about like Tony being that version, and then obviously
kind
like
of the male figure in his life.
because it's just a sad thing of like Uncle Ben's death is like the impetus for him becoming Spider-Man, and to have with great power comes great responsibility, and obviously we don't need to see him get shot a third time, but like, you know, I always kind of wish there was like a moment where he like just is like, I don't know what to do, and he just goes and like visits like the gravestone, and then Aunt May shows up like, I knew I'd find you here.
Yeah.
And like they don't even have to talk about like the specifics, but just you see like what that like means to him, that he has like that like space, I guess. But you know, by the third movie, Aunt May ends up becoming the, functionally speaking, Uncle Ben. So we'll see more of that.
I have a read on that moment, which we'll talk about in 2 weeks. But
yeah, so it's like just one of those things that always is, and in the grand scheme of everything, it just ends up being a distraction.
I do think, I get what you're saying.
And so it's just a bummer. And I think they just didn't quite know what they were going to do with it. And just ended up shying away from it. It's like they wanted to have like a little wiggle room on there. And it's obviously with the scale of this universe, it's always hard to tell what you're going to get to capitalize and what you're not going to get to capitalize on. But
which also kind of, I guess, maybe moving into narrative runway. This movie ends on a pretty big cliffhanger, which, when leaving the theater, I remember being like, okay, a Spider-Man movie has never done this before, where May finds out that he's Spider-Man.
Yep.
What are we going to do? We will talk about what they decide to do next week. I will try to hold back my opinions on that. But like, I do think the like her just walking in, like it's certainly better to me than him taking the mask off in front of her.
Yeah. Like
her just finding out. But like, I remember leaving this movie being like, oh, like that's fun. Let's let Tomei really
I want to unpack that.
What happens when you find out that your nephew, ostensibly your son, has become this superhero?
Your last bit of family, like what is out there doing the most dangerous thing possible.
I really would have loved if she hit him with a, you know, you're not Superman, you know.
Would have been great. Would have been great.
Careful with your back.
Fuck yeah. It's just
I don't want you hurting yourself.
God, Rosemary Harris.
Rosemary Harris. Had to beat a lady with a stick.
I will say, we have not had a bad Aunt May.
No, there's never
Rosemary
been a bad
Harris
Aunt
is
May.
great. Sally Field is really good. And Tomei, I also think, is
Tomei
great.
Is very strong.
She gets...
The writing's never quite is strong. It just in terms of, like, again, they just never really do enough with her in the movies. But but like what she's bringing into the space, I think works really well.
Yeah.
Especially in Civil War. I feel like that's actually kind of my favorite window when we meet her there. And she's just like, look who's here. Like, it's just so fun.
But yeah, in terms of narrative runway, kind of where do we all stand on that in terms of like, does this movie set you in a way that kind of makes you excited for a sequel outside maybe cliffhanger exempt, if you guys want?
I think it does. I think that what they line up and how they tell the story, it's different than what we've gotten. And I like that. And I think even the side of not closely putting him and MJ together, or like, you know, making it all about getting the girl that he's going to end up with, you know, because it's a different girl and she moves away. You know, and so it's like, I think that it's a different movie, which is a really good take on it all. So I really enjoy it because of that. And I think that what they line up, right, even with the cliffhanger, like with it there, like I think it just raises the question of like, who is this Spider-Man going to be for the next 5 films.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
I want to see him in, like including Avengers and all this type of stuff, like I think that there's a lot of good stuff that is there with it. So
Mm-hmm.
and I also think, talking about how we score this show, like in terms of like plot threads, themes, like all
Yeah.
that stuff. Characters is the one that I really kind of want to hone in on with this week's episode of like leading back into something that we've talked a lot about this episode is the ensemble of it. That I am like, people love Spider-Man. It's kind of like a obvious, like, of course people want to see more Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
People like this character. But I do think they've created a group of people, Ned being one of them. What if we're saying that Michelle is MJ to him?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Because this is such a departure. It does offer questions that the team itself, and also like firmly supplanting him in high school.
Yeah.
Which was what a lot of people wanted to see, of like, don't just like have him in high school and then just kind of like
Because
shoot away.
he graduates like almost immediately in all the other versions, and
Yeah.
they just don't really want him to be in high school for that long.
That it seems like they're really committing to it. So like I do think they're offering new ideas and new takes in the films that we haven't really explored. Whether or not they explore them or explore them successfully, we'll talk about in the next week's episode, a few weeks episodes. But I think this movie does offer a little palette that, a little appetizer plate I might be picking at, you know what I mean? I'll grab a croissant, I'll grab some fruit, I'll see, making a little assortment for myself. I find it really strong in that.
Yeah, I would agree. For me, in terms of narrative runway, the ensemble in this cast is so much fun, and I think and such a strong part of this movie, which I do think is a little bit of an uneven movie, but like again, they're so much fun that I want to see more of them. Just that alone. I mean, again, we always talk about how like the superhero movies in the comic books, like it's kind of built in that there's always more adventure. There's always gonna be another bad guy,
Sure.
but for the purpose of our show, like if we don't care about the characters, then what's the point?
Yeah.
And I think they nail that part. So like I'm like, yes.
Fair. Do we want to
I think it's
get
time to
into
do our score.
scores?
Yeah.
I can start us off this time.
Hit it.
For quality of film, I give this guy a full point.
Okay.
I have some issues with it, but generally the good outweighs the bad with me. So a half point I kind of give for like there's an even balance of like pros and cons for me. I feel like they do a good enough job that there's room for improvement, but I'm willing to round up.
Yeah.
I gave it a point for rewatchability. I find this movie highly rewatchable. I think it's very, very fun. I think its tone is kind of the highlight of it.
Yeah.
And how fucking funny it is, man. It's really funny.
Yeah.
And then for narrative runway, I also gave it a 1. I gave it a full point. I checked my list. This is in my top 5 Spider-Man movies.
Well, you're wrong, but
it's
I'm
number.
just kidding.
It's number 5 on that list, so that it's it gets its way in there. So I like this movie. It's not my favorite Spider-Man movie. It's not my favorite superhero movie. It's like it's up there in my MCU rankings, but like kind of in the middle. But I do think it offers a really strong cliffhanger of something we've never seen before in a Spider-Man movie. Whether or not that's something you want is up to the individual, but it offers a really strong ensemble, and it offers a Peter Parker that I really fall in love with and that I want to see. And with how they reinvent classic villains like the Vulture, I'm like, yeah, let's see them play with other villains that we haven't seen before. Because it felt really nice to see classic Spider-Man villain, an iconic Spider-Man villain, and not have to worry about the Norman Osborn of it all, as much as I love that character. I liked that they were trying something new, but still giving us the Spider-Man that we were kind of all hoping for. So I gave it a 3 out of 3, which I did not anticipate, to be honest. Dave?
I gave this a 2.5 out of 3.
Nice.
I gave it a half point for quality. I feel like the CGI and the way the fights are constructed, I find, again, for me, I know I've been saying uneven a lot, but it is for me one of the parts that bums me out. And I think a lot of the those kinds of choices that this movie has is a reoccurring issue, I think, with the Tom Holland movies. And I really like this movie, so I don't want to like feel like I'm like crapping out on it or anything. But like I said, like the script is good enough and the cast and characters are so good that I'm still doing like a half point. And for narrative runway, I will give it a full point. For the same reasons. Like I think the cast is so strong, and I want to know how they're going to unpack that stuff. And then for rewatchability, yeah, another full point because it's a very funny movie. So it's all my points are kind of like linked together, and I'm mostly I think docking it for quality just because I feel weird giving it a full 3. I feel like I like this movie a lot, but I don't know if I love it enough to give it 3.
Sure.
For the purposes of this.
Totally fair.
So,
Dish?
I gave it a 2.5, same point allocation. I think quality is a little bit different. I think there's just a few of those things that I was kind of mentioning that like just aren't perfect. Like some minor stuff kind of spread throughout it that we've just touched on. I don't think it's like perfectly written, perfectly shot, perfectly flow like through the entire thing. I love it all. I still really enjoy the entire thing. Like it's a lot of fun, but like if the way that I usually look at quality of film, was it like the perfect movie and the perfect film? And I don't think it is. I think it's a fantastic one.
Totally.
I love it. Rewatchable. Again, narrative runway. I want to see more of my usual of like, did all the characters and all the story and what they built like intrigue me? Yes. Like I'm there. Like when this one ended, I was just like, give me the next one, like I was so ready, and I'm actually, very happy with what they did with the other ones. So that's always a good sign too. But that totals it at an 8 out of 10 from us.
Nice.
That's
Just
a solid,
pretty solid.
yes.
Nice.
Good for us. There's 2 more. Soon to be 3.
There is.
That's crazy.
That is.
How that worked out.
Can you guys believe that the new one coming out will be the first fourth Spider-Man movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Tom Holland has already played this character more times than anyone, right?
Yeah.
He has. Yeah. And it'll have been almost 10 years.
Wow.
2017 is this movie, 2026.
Watch out, Hugh Jackman. He's coming for your record.
I mean, look, he can play this character as long as he wants, as far as I'm concerned.
I am in agreement with that.
I feel
kind
like
of
he'll
would
pull
like to see
I'm
him.
done though.
Yeah, I think.
I
well,
feel
He's
like
a
sure-
pretty, and I love this about him. He's a pretty private guy.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
wants his own life, and he's even been like he seems. I said this to a friend that it was like he seems perfectly content being Zendaya's husband.
Yeah.
As should everybody. Like what a coveted job to have.
Yeah,
like,
I know. Yeah.
Like fucking, you hit the jackpot.
She's
Parker.
gonna have a hell of a year coming up. She's got new Spider-Man. She's got Dune Part 3. She's apparently rumored to be in Doomsday. I think.
I don't know about.
I don't know if that's been
that.
confirmed or not, but I saw a post where there
I think
was,
she
but
was
she's-
Doom.
oh shit,
She's also in
Not
the
against that.
Odyssey,
and the Odyssey.
Oh, wow.
and she has the drama.
Oh
with
yeah,
the
and
Robert
the drama's
Pattinson
coming
movie.
out.
She
Yeah.
has 4 movies coming out this year.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is
Slay.
yeah.
Happy to have her
a
back.
busy year. Yeah.
Seen Challengers?
Sounds pretty good.
Pretty good. She's
Good
great
time.
in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Good time.
Good time.
Nice to talk about movies that are a good
Good.
time.
The movie's fun. It's a good time.
It's-
It was fun to rewatch it.
It was.
I'm excited to watch the rest.
Yeah.
Well-
I am too. It's because I haven't, like I said,
the
I
new one.
haven't rewatched these other ones since the theater.
Yeah.
So
Well, we're gonna be
curious how I feel
hopping
about it.
on a international flight.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be taking our way down to the Venice canals.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of a European vacation, if you will.
We're going. We're at home right now, and
And next week we
We're
will be
far from it.
Yeah.
far from it. I have a very funny story about
Next week, The Wizard of Oz.
something that I actually I'll tease it. I for a brief moment got my little sister to think that they built Venice for Far From Home. For like 30 seconds to 2 minutes, I got her to think that they built that as a set.
I was really hoping
that
you
they
say she
left
still
it.
thinks it, and we haven't.
No, I
This
would.
is how I'm going to tell her.
I like Hobbiton. I like briefly got her to think that they just built
That's
it and left
so
it.
funny.
Well, I'll talk about it more next week.
All right. Well, any other thoughts?
Chess.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to another episode of We Need One More.
Be sure to click on the link for our socials and to subscribe to our Patreon, as those are the best ways to support the podcast.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.